Hello everyone, welcome back to Undermine. So, last episode, naturally, things don't ever go to plan. What's in here? Just a chest in the wall. Okay, I'm sure that serves some kind of purpose, or did once upon a time. So yeah, I had to fudge the dragon fight slightly. The prologue, of course, was written after the event, so... Is there a... Oh, hello, there's somebody up there. Not sure who. Might be Corvus. So naturally, I had to rewrite that slightly. Oop, there goes Keo. Paper crafting on Tumblr. So we have, as a consequence of yet another dragon fight, another boss battle completed, another iron golem in the pond. Okay. A new trader. Now this might take me a while to get to, just because we have recently removed the gigantic and kind of an eyesore stairway that was going up here originally. Let me see if I remember this route. Yes, somebody put in this water elevator. Hold space to go up. It's not very quick. I will probably be trying to replace it with a slime block lift later on, but thank you whoever did this. It is a good bridge between the two. And I believe someone has already edited the signs up here to indicate which floor I need to be on, but this can take a while. So, our newest addition... Nope, temple. Nope, that's not the one we want. We're not far from Cantankerous' level now, though, I think. Our newest addition is actually formerly a resident of Sky, the Endland civilization that was pretty much destroyed. Yep, Cantankerous, not too far now. And... slowly, certainly, surely... There we go. Okay, here we are. And with Glydia and her sister's passing and Emeritus's departure, thankfully, because his contract expired with Glydia's death, he has been able to make his way to the overworlds, because it doesn't take long for the end to realize that Glydia was gone. So, yay, good for that. So, our newest addition, therefore, is Slumberous, the alchemist. If you hadn't guessed this already, I am having a running thing of naming the traders and such after the 7 dwarves. So we have Grumpy and we have Sleepy. And, oh yes, just a note, Redstone Unfinished will complete after MCM, because I'm recording this literally the night before I go to MCM, so consequently things are slightly frantic and hectic, but enjoy the time-lapse as I build this lovely little place. Okay, hope you enjoyed that little piece. So, item imbuing and curiosities is Slumberous's main job. So if we look around, he's just gonna be like chilling around in here. He's not really gonna be standing. He's not really gonna be wandering or caged up like Cantankerous is behind a desk. And I have it in my mind that they actually have very competing work theologies. Cantankerous and Slumberous do not get along very well. But anyways, the main service that Slumberous provides is adding attributes to items. So you chuck your item onto here. Let's go with a lever for this. And, I might need to add a dropper for this, just to make sure it's easier to do. Okay, so you chuck it there, and I'll probably have a little piece of redstone to make sure nothing despawns that's on that pedestal. But other than that, you then have to pick your imbuing. These do, of course, cost wealth. I'm thinking somewhere in the region of 200 per imbue. And so I can get the attack damage buff, or I can get the health bonus buff, or I can get the knockback resistance buff, or I can get the speed buff. And of course, these are cumulative, so if you have a full set of armor and an item you're holding that has, say, the speed buff, you're going to be basically Sonic. I'm kind of wondering who's going to be first to do that. But there are a few guards built in to prevent this being completely absurd. So, for example, you can only have the one imbue on a given item. If you pick a new one, it just overrides the old one. And if you imbue something, it gets the little lore text that says imbued by Slumberous, and it cannot be repaired. Just in the same way that the items that Cantankerous gives out can't be repaired, it sets the repair cost to 40, which means an anvil will not allow you to repair it. This means you can't rename it, you can't add more enchantments, you can't do anything to it. It is going to die from that point onwards. We don't have any unbreakable tools as yet. You could, of course, buy something from Cantankerous and then imbue it over here. I imagine he wouldn't be too pleased at that, but it's an option. But the other thing that I will probably get working before I head off to MCM is over here. Purchase Chester. Chester is a slight tip of the hat, as it were, to Don't Starve, as well as Discworld's luggage, which is a minecart, a chest minecart riding a dog. Dog is, of course, untamed, BYO bone. So you'll pay for him. He's probably going to be a lot cheaper than the 200. He might just be 125, that kind of thing. And that will get you a fresh little Chester around about here. Maybe he'll just, like, pop in on the pedestal. Who knows? That'd be nice. And he will be able to hold your items, a chest worth of items, and he'll teleport to you. So he's a nice little, like, work kind of supply kind of little tool. Nice little thing. I would love to add more kind of entity-based kind of things like that. We've got the MLATs over with Cantankerous that teleport you to spawn, and having Slumberous have Chester. Maybe all of the different traders will have their own little special trick. I'd be really interested to see that. But, yeah, that is the build here so far. Slumberous himself will probably sell potion ingredients because he's an alchemist. Maybe he'll sell potions themselves as well. But other than that, let's hop over to my test world, and we can actually have a look at how the wiring for those imbues are going to work, because that is kind of an interesting thing to talk about. Okay, so we are now in my test world, as higgledy-piggledy as it always is. And here we have basically my prototypes for Slumberous's cells. So we have our pedestal here, and we have a speed and I think attack boost is what these two are. And I do need to have a certain wealth, so let me add that to the sidebar. Objectives, set display, sidebar, wealth. There we go. So I currently have 0 wealth, and I need at least 101. So scoreboard, players, set, lying, wealth. Let's put it to 200. There we go. Okay. Now, if I let's pick a weapon. Let's go with a iron sword. You probably will not be using an imbue on an iron sword unless it has an unbreaking 3, but even then, not likely. So we hit this. I have lost 101 of my wealth. There's been a nice little particle effect and everything over there. And the sword has become imbued by Slumberous. And it is now increasing my speed to basically double. Early tests with this gave really big numbers, so consequently I had a kind of hard time actually maneuvering. Let's, just as an example of something you can do here, put a full suit of armor with this kind of effect on it. Whoop. And set my wealth up again. Okay, you can see the effects happen whilst you're holding. So, that includes the item that you're holding. Okay, doop. And I now have kind of increasingly ridiculous levels of speed. And last one, the boots. I boot the boots. There we go. So, there we have it. My jump speed isn't up, but my actual moving speed is kind of ludicrous. I don't think the 100% is going to be what I make Slumberous actually sell. Let me just grab that as well. So, geez, look at all this speed. You'll be able to have different ones, obviously, so if I get my wealth back up and I get rid of these... Oh boy. So if I just chuck that there and I get the attack damage one instead, then it no longer gives me the speed, but it does have increased attack damage, so you can see they overwrite each other because they're in the same position. So to do this, we have 3 distinct checks that need to go through to ensure that this is actually above board. So the first check is, do you have enough wealth? If that doesn't go through, then everything doesn't work here. And you also need to ensure that there is an item at the exact coordinates that you're looking for. So I've got the coordinates in here. I'm only looking for 1, which is C equals 1, and I'm only looking for items. So, if there's nothing here, that doesn't go through. It will still take your wealth, though. That's kind of something I can't quite escape. So yeah, you need to be careful of that. And then just sends the actual button press through as well. If all 3 of those conditions are met, that is to say you have the wealth, you have an item, and of course you push the button, then it triggers these 3. So 2 of these... That just plays a sound, that plays a particle effect. This is the really, really big part. So it's just getting the one item that is right there. It's setting its age to 0, so it's got 5 minutes before it despawns, just a courtesy kind of thing, really. It's crucially setting the count to 1, which means if you drop a stack of arrows there and try to imbue all of them, the stack gets reduced to 1 and you will lose 63 arrows. So it's a sort of a countermeasure against cheapening out the system. But it does mean you can potentially lose quite a bit. And then we increase the repair cost to 40, so you can't repair it anymore. Add the lore, which I believe will overwrite the lore given on an item that you get from Cantankerous, but it won't overwrite the name, so either way that sticks. And then we add the attribute. So, attribute modifiers, attribute name, generic dot movement speed, in this case, it's attack damage over there. Amount 1, operation 1, there's a different... You can check the wiki, that's a hard one to explain. UUIDs, kind of a standard thing. And that's always the first one, indeed the first and only attribute that is added. So consequently, these always overwrite the preceding one. Now this was my original model, which is kind of bulky, and I later compacted it to this. So we can see the inputs, the processing, we can see input, checks, processing, and output here, all in one tidy little package. I might try and make this a bit smaller just before I actually install it on the server, because I have 4 of these. But, yeah, that is it. That is Slumberous, our new trader, and... hopefully you'll get to see a bit of him on other people's views. Hopefully people will like post in the Undermine server tag on Tumblr, because I know there's at least one person there, which is the blog Out of Context Undermine, which is a hoot to watch. But yeah, I am probably right as this is being aired, wandering around MCM right now, so hopefully I'll see you there if you're watching this. But otherwise, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time.